Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends. Thanks for joining me today for a countdown video. This is something that I have not done on the channel too often, but I'm going to start these up. I was trying to think of a way to kind of show off some other cards in my collection or parts in my collection that I maybe otherwise wouldn't show here on the channel. Collected for many years before I got onto YouTube, and I figured everybody loves a good countdown video, so from time to time I'm going to throw one of these up with a different theme as kind of an excuse just to go digging through my collection and find some cards to show off. So we're going to start the first one here with a countdown of 10 cards that I love in my collection that feature the 1972 Topps design. And you can see a few up in the background there while I gab through the intro, but I love this set. It's probably my favorite overall set from the 70s. Love the vibrant colors, and way back in the day, I forget who coined the term, but when I was in the card blogging community, I saw somebody dub this set as the psychedelic tombstone set in terms of naming the set, and that really stuck with me. I think it's the perfect way to describe these. They do have that tombstone kind of shape to them when you look at the color portion of the card on the white border, and of course they have those wonderful psychedelic colors. I think they're the perfect early 70s set. So we're going to look at 10 cards in my collection that feature this design. Now, this is not a countdown of the 10 best cards in the 1972 Topps set. This is my unique take on it based on my collection. So like, you're not going to see a 72 Hank Aaron in this countdown, for example, because I used to have one, but I sold it a while back and I haven't replaced that card yet. So these are just 10 cards that I enjoy from my personal collection featuring the 72 Topps design. But of course, I'm going to put my own unique twist on it. And I think you'll see, one or two cards here that you didn't expect or maybe you have never seen before. So before we get to the top 10, let's look at two runners up that didn't make the cut. Had this awesome leaders card here featuring 3 Hall of Famers, Joe Torre, Willie Stargell, and Hank Aaron. Gotta love these leaders when they combine with all Hall of Famers on one card. Just a great one there, featuring the 71 NL RBI leaders. Then the other runner-up, shout out to my buddy Dylan at Double D Vintage Baseball Cards, who collects Freddie Patek. Pictured here, he's one of the more diminutive athletes as far as stature goes in the history of Major League Baseball, listed on the back here as being 5'5". But what I love about this card, just the way the photograph was taken and the way that it was cropped inside the design, I think more than any other Patek card really makes him look tiny. So I just thought that was a funny one as I was flipping through my 72s. And with those two honorable mentions out of the way, let's get down to the top 10, 3 minutes in here. In the number 10 slot, card I've never shown before, the 72 Harmon Killebrew. Have this in a PSA 8, and you can tell based on the very old flip, this is a card that I picked up a long time ago. Probably have had this for between 12 and 15 years, if I had to guess. And Killebrew is just someone that I don't probably give enough credit to or don't have as well represented in my collection as I should. Guy was, of course, a member of the 500 Home Run Club and probably, one of the premier power hitters of his day, of the 50s and 60s into the early 70s. Doesn't get a whole lot of hobby love. I don't know if that's because he played, in Minnesota or what the deal is there. But I love this card because the blue used in the background on the card almost matches the blue in the sky to where, you could deceive your eyes into thinking that this was a transparent card design laid over that blue sky there. So I've always liked that Killebrew card for that reason. Also, the blue in the Twins uniform just really ties everything together nicely. So there's a never-before-seen 72 in the number 10 spot. Moving up one spot to number 9, check out this Hoyt Wilhelm. Picked this up on ComC a few years back, and I paid about $10 for this because it is one of the notoriously difficult high numbers. In this case, the final series printed for the 72 Topps set. Just like most sets from this era, as the summer went on, people got interested in other things. Football was about to start up, and so they tended to print less and less of the cards as the series went on. And so these high numbers are pretty tough. Anyone who's ever tried to work on a 72 Topps set probably knows that or can attest to that. I don't see myself ever doing that, but I'm happy that I have this Hall of Fame knuckleballer Hoyt Wilhelm. A little bit of an unfamiliar Dodgers uniform there for him. So that's number 9. In the number 8 spot, we have a name that is very recognizable here in New England, the great Bill Buckner, on his All-Star Rookie Trophy card with the LA Dodgers. Like, just so much to love about this card. Great image, vibrant colors. You got that huge All-Star Rookie Trophy, which was, really in its prime or heyday throughout the 60s and into the early 70s here. This guy, of course, unfortunately, was widely remembered for that fielding error in the 1986 World Series, which, didn't directly cost the Red Sox the World Series, contrary to popular belief, but it certainly didn't help. And it was a real shame because this guy was an amazing player. He won a batting title. He was an all-star. I think he had, many seasons where he exceeded a 300 batting average, 100 RBIs, just a really good slugger. And it was just a shame that he had that moment where, honestly, he was probably put in a fielding position that he shouldn't have been in to begin with, made that unfortunate error and was the butt of many, many jokes across New England for years, to where it really impacted him, unfortunately, as a human being. But sadly, while he did pass away at a relatively young age, it was great to see Red Sox ownership and fans make things right and give him his due. And I'll always remember the game years back where he came back to Fenway Park and received a standing ovation from the Fenway faithful after they won their World Series. And numerous World Series here in this century, kind of softened the blow of that curse that went on. And you could tell it meant so much to him. He was teary-eyed and was like the ultimate release from all those years of being affiliated with that moment. And I'm really, really glad as a fan that there was a chance for that to happen before he passed away. So Bill Buckner in the number 8 spot. Moving into number 7 here. This is going to be one of the cards I've never shown before. I probably haven't shown many of these, actually, but just picked this up recently, and this is where we're going to deviate a little bit. Everything we've looked at so far has been from the 72 Topps set, but if you caught during the intro and the title of the video, this is based on the 72 Topps design, not set. So I have one here that's actually a much newer card on the 72 design. Check this puppy out from 2021 Topps Heritage. This is the Xander Bogaerts Gold Refractor. And I purchased this only a few weeks ago now, this past summer, from my good buddy in the hobby, JT, also known as Triple Crown 24. And I believe he acquired this at the National. And I saw this in some videos that he did on the National, was hoping that he would list it in his eBay store. He ended up doing that. And then furthermore, when I watched it, he sent an offer that was very, very reasonable. Certainly too good for me to refuse. And this is the very first Heritage Gold Refractor that I've ever got in my collection. These are super tough. If you've never seen them, they're numbered just to 5 copies. So you can see I got copy 3 of 5. So one of my lower numbered Xander Bogaerts that I have in the collection to date. And just a great job by Topps here of replicating that 72 design. And we get to look at it in shiny gold format. I love my gold cards and gold refractors. Certainly would love to obtain more of those, but being numbered to 5, not sure how practical that is. But either way, great card to fill in at slot number 7 for this longtime Xander Bogaerts collector. Moving on to number 6, I actually have 2 cards here. I kind of cheated, put these both in together as a pair in the number 6 slot. It is card number 1, the Pirates World Champions card, and then this card here, the World Series Celebration. So obviously both of these celebrate the Pirates' 1971 World Series Championship. So I love these team cards. I love this card. I think I featured this in a VR that I did on celebration photos, but just a great shot there. And I really dig that Topps gave the Pirates card number 1 on the checklist for 72 Topps. I love the concept of devoting the first card in the flagship release to the World Series champions from the year prior. Just love that idea, and I love this team photo. I just love everything about this card. It's not an expensive card. This one has some wax staining on the back, so I think it cost me about $1. But you know what? I love it enough that it placed number 6 on this countdown. In the number 5 spot, this is a card I have shown before, and in fact, I've done so numerous times. Also from 2021 Topps Heritage, same as the Xander, the Shohei Ohtani Chrome Red Refractor. I'll keep it brief here because this one has seen some airtime on the channel, but obviously, as I said with the Xander, great use by Topps of that 72 Topps design. This is a great batting image of Shohei. It's team color matching. It's serial numbered. It's from his MVP year. What's not to love? So that's alongside that Xander, one of the modern takes on 72 Topps that made the countdown here. Put Shohei up in the background, again at number 5. And that takes us down to our top 4. And in the number 4 slot, this is a gift that I received from a really generous member of this awesome community here on YouTube. It's probably a year or two ago now. My friend Mike, who lives up in Canada and has a channel here called Canadian Cards, and I'll leave a link below to all these channels that I'm mentioning. He sent me, just because he knew I didn't have one, out of the kindness of his heart, a Carlton Fisk rookie card from 72 Topps. Check that out. I had no idea at the time that this was coming. Mike just found out. I think I had maybe commented on a video on his channel on kind of the irony that although I was a Red Sox team collector for many years, I never ended up with this Fisk rookie. And Mike, I think, had a couple copies and just put one in the mail and sent it off to me, no questions asked. And I always think of Mike and always will every time I come across this card. Even if I get another one someday that's maybe graded, say, low to mid-grade centered copy for my graded collection, I will nonetheless hang on to that one just because of, the association with Mike and his awesome generosity. And kind of, I guess it's symbolic of this whole community and everything that I'm constantly saying on this channel, which is that you just won't find a friendlier group of people anywhere than you will here on YouTube in this sports card hobby. Next up, in the number 3 slot, this is kind of an underdog pick. And I could have, if we were going purely on aesthetics, I might have even ranked this number 1. And it's a common card of a player who is not anything special, but I just absolutely love it. The job that the Topps photographer did on the 72 Topps Billy Cowan. Look at that image. So for those who don't know, at Angel Stadium when it opened in 1966, they put this gigantic letter A, I guess, statue for build out in the outfield and left field with a halo around the top. And anytime the team would win, whether at home at Angel Stadium or even on the road, they would light up the halo to represent a win. And I guess a few years later, I think in the late 70s, they moved this out to the parking lot. So it's no longer in the outfield, but it is still on site at Angel Stadium in the parking lot. It's been painted red where it's white here, but it still has the halo as well. And they do still light up that halo every time the Angels win at home or on the road. It's a massive monument. I think it's 230 feet tall or something. I looked it up, I forget, and a couple hundred tons. But just kind of a cool aspect to Angels history and Angels Stadium. And I just adore the fact that the photographer here, got Billy to line up where his head was directly below the halo, giving him that angelic look. To me, that makes this maybe the greatest Angels card of all time. Just really, really dig this one. You didn't see too much creative photography like this back in this time period. This is something I would expect to see maybe in Stadium Club nowadays, but for early 70s, this was quite creative, and I just love that take so much so that I actually have the Topps Heritage buyback version of this card as well. And this actually resides in my buyback Frankenset on the 3rd page, the very top of the page in slot 19, but I did free it so that it could make an appearance in this video today. So number 3, the Billy Cowan 1972 Topps with that amazing photo. And then for the last 2 cards, these are going to be kind of big name Hall of Famers. In the number 2 slot, Nolan Ryan, the Texas Express. I've shown this one before when I did a video on my entire Nolan Ryan run, but this is one of the last cards that I needed to complete that run. And really the reason it's so high on the list, I'm just very, very proud of the job that I did in finding this copy. It's graded a 6, but it checks all the boxes for me in terms of visual appeal, centering, bright colors, vibrant, no creases. This is a gorgeous card. If you held this, 6 to 8 inches from your face and someone told you it was a PSA 8 or 9, you could easily believe that. And it's one of my favorite Nolan Ryan cards just because of the bright colors. I love the Angels cap with the halo there. And this is really when he was at his peak, early 70s, 73, I think might be my vote for his best individual season. But 72 was right up there as well. And just an awesome card. And no matter how many times I go through my collection to try to find cards that I want to sell, that I'm maybe not as happy with, or I want to upgrade or move on from, this one will always make the cut. One of my absolute favorite cards in my entire collection, just simply gorgeous, and a no-brainer to make this top 10 countdown. So Nolan Ryan in the number 2 spot. And then last but not least, number 1 is this card right here. Roberto Clemente, also in a PSA 6. I didn't do that on purpose, but same grade as the Nolan Ryan. And I'm one of the many collectors who references this as their favorite Roberto Clemente card. I have many other Clementes, including some that are older than this, more valuable than this. But despite that, this card right here is my personal favorite Roberto Clemente card. I just love the image, like with his downcast eyes, tossing the ball to himself. And, given how history unfolded and his tragic passing in the offseason prior to 1973, this is like technically his last playing era card. The 73 issue, while he is in the set, was sent out or issued to collectors posthumously, again with him having passed away after the 72 season. And there's something that's just like beautifully haunting about this image of a guy who is the ultimate humanitarian and the ultimate good guy in sports, and is rightfully so widely collected and appreciated in this great hobby that we share. So Roberto Clemente, I think a very easy case to justify as number 1 in my countdown, and that's going to complete the top 10 cards in my collection, at least as it stands today, that feature the 1972 Topps design. This was a little bit longer video than I intended, but if you stuck it out with me through the whole thing, I certainly appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly had a lot of fun putting it together. And if you did, as I said, there'll be some other countdown videos like this in the near future with some pretty creative topics that I'm coming up with to kind of give me an excuse to delve into my collection and see what I can pull out to share with all of you. So thank you again for your time. I'll be back very soon with some more content. And until then, enjoy the hobby, everybody. Take care.